However, they have the Hammer collection from Anchor Bay. They had Quatermass 2 for $2.95 and Quatermass and the Pit for $3.95. Mark of Horror here with Hugsy, and we got to take another trip, thanks to Wonder Wife behind the camera, to my favorite bookstore, McKay's Books. This time we actually got to hit two of them. We got to hit one in Chattanooga and one in Knoxville. And we picked up a bunch of books and a bunch of movies. And we turned in a bunch of stuff that we didn't need, like DVDs where we'd upgraded them to Blu-rays. So none of this cost us anything, but it did use up all the credit. I picked up an older copy of Aliens Book 1 by Marc for $6.50. And it has, it's the old black and white pages. And it's an old copy, so they still call the characters Ripley, Newt, and Hicks. When Alien 3 came out, they retconned that so that it was three characters who are like Ripley, Newt, and Hicks, but because of the events that take place in the beginning of Aliens 3, they changed the names so it's just a generic woman, a generic girl, and a generic soldier. So it's very annoying. So I really like the old copy. Now with the anniversary copy that they just recently put out, they've changed the names back again to Ripley, Newt, and Hicks, and that's I highly recommend you picking up. It's in a nice hardcover edition, and they have two copies, one of which has the first Alien series, and then the other one has the next two Alien series. But Aliens Book 1, I thought this was great for $6.50. This was probably my splurgiest. I got Leonard Maltin's 2011 movie guide for $10. It's a massive tome, just because I want to be able to use it. I want to refer to it when I'm reviewing some movies, and refer to what Leonard Maltin reviewed the movie at. And I have a Roger Ebert book so that I can do the same with him, because they come up with some funky ratings for some movies I consider pretty classic. And then while I was in their film section, I wouldn't normally buy these, but the prices were compelling. They have a book on the Dexter TV show for 75 cents. Creature Features book for $2. Highlander the Watcher's Guide for 75 cents. The X-Files I Want to Believe for 75 cents. And the official guide to the X-Files, The Truth is Out There, 75 cents. So these were, I thought these were really good cheap finds. Of course, the majority of what I buy at McKay's are movies, but the problem is that I'm actually filling the collection pretty well, which is amazing. It means, though, that every time I go to McKay's, there's less and less I find there that I can use. On the other hand, who can't use a Dalek? I plan to put this out in my alien room, because the Daleks are aliens. But I realize that my wife may take this for her office. I don't know.
Could happen.
$3.95. And I picked up 2 VHS at McKay's, which is mostly they don't carry VHS. They only carry VHS if it's something that's somewhat expensive, because they long ago stopped carrying all the cheap VHS. However, they have the Hammer collection from Anchor Bay. They had Quatermass 2 for $2.95 and Quatermass and the Pit for $3.95. And these will probably just go on a shelf. I will not likely watch them because I have Blu-rays of both of them. But they're pretty wonderful, I thought, for just $4 and $3 a piece. Wife probably does not understand why I would purchase an inferior version of a movie. And then I picked up Laid to Rest, which I have the sequel, but I didn't have this one. It was $3. They marked The Ranger, which just came out. It was marked $5. Good Night, Mommy, which I'm told is quite disturbing, but I haven't seen it yet. Tremors, Cold Day in Hell. I'm hoping that this stops me from buying any more Tremors product ever. The reason being that this is Tremors 6, and I always believe it's Tremors 5 that I'm missing. So I've bought 2 or 3 copies of Tremors 5. But now that I have Tremors 6, I have all the Tremors, and I know in my head I don't need to buy Tremors anymore. I even have Tremors the series, which I haven't watched yet. A Blu-ray of City of the Dead, which is also known as Horror Hotel, which is an early Christopher Lee film. And it includes, original British version with over 2 minutes of footage not found in the American Horror Hotel version. I don't know that 2 minutes is going to make much of a difference in a film, but it also has a 45-minute interview with Christopher Lee. So that'll be a good one. I picked up Escape Room, which I took my daughter to go see, because she had wanted to see it, and this actually had the digital slip in it, and no one had used it. When you pick up these and they have the digital slip in them and they're used, often the slip is used and whoever it was didn't throw it away. So don't be too disappointed when the digital slips don't work. But Escape Room was a fun little romp. Cube Zero, finishing off my Cube collection. The Return of Count Yorga. I only got this because I had credit, because $22 is way too much to pay for a used movie. But this is a Scream Factory title, and it's hard to find them. In fact, you almost never find them at McKays or any of the other used places I go to. The Return of Count Yorga. And The Last Circus, which is a rather really strange Spanish film that my wife did not care for, but I thought was absolutely wonderful. Which is really odd because she's really attracted to Spanish films. She likes their aesthetic. I finished off a whole bunch of collections here from McKays. Picked up Prom Night 3 and Prom Night 4 to go with my Prom Night. Weebo, weebo, weebo. We're back. Picked up The Man with the Screaming Brain. Can't go wrong with Bruce Campbell. This is not a particularly good film. It is so cheesy, and it's juvenile, but it's juvenile in, if I remember correctly, it's juvenile in a fun way that Chillerama wasn't. But we'll see when I watch it again. Dead and Breakfast, which I really remember as being quite a funny horror comedy, and it's got a lenticular cover. I like lenticular slipcovers. Mermaid Lake of the Dead, Scream Factory DVD, and I had mentioned that McKays and the other used stores don't get Scream Factory DVDs and Blu-rays, but actually the truth is that they get whichever ones Walmart carries. If Walmart carries one, you'll see it. Like I've seen the Vestron Video Maximum Overdrive in the used stores because Walmart carried it for a while. Anyway, Mermaid Lake of the Dead looks like a good one. And Return to Sleepaway Camp. Again, finishing off a series for me. I have Sleepaway Camp 1 through 3 and the little snippet of 4 that they filmed, and Return to Sleepaway Camp now, which I was surprised to find didn't have Felissa Rose in it. I thought they would have brought her back for Return to Sleepaway Camp, but I guess maybe it's just a cheap cash grab. Who knows? The Witch, or if you prefer, the Vivitch. Pick that one up for $5. That's a really good atmospheric one. It has a really nice payoff at the end, but if you don't like period pieces, you're not really going to care for it. Tomb of the Werewolf. Paul Naschy made umpteen films as Valdemar Kandinsky, the werewolf, and this was one of them, and this was one I didn't have. unless it's a retitling of one of the ones I have, because sometimes they do that with the European films. I'll find out shortly. And again, I wouldn't have spent this much on this, but I had the store credit. So $12.95 for Dagon, because I'm a sucker for Cthulhu films, for Lovecraft films. Then we also got...
Oh dear God, does it never end?
It never ends. But I built out another series, Candyman 3, so now I have all 3 Candyman films. Grave of the Vampire, a film that was rather despised at the theaters because, well, shortly after his death by electrocution in the late 30s, ghoulish rapist murderer Caleb Croft rises from his crypt and brutally assaults young Leslie Hollander. Leslie becomes pregnant by Croft and delivers a baby boy whom she nurses with bottles of blood. The child matures into the ruggedly handsome James Eastman, who sets out on a mission to find and kill his diabolical father. Enrolled at college, James discovers his father is posing as Professor Lockwood. Following a seance hosted by the professor for his students, James confronts his monstrous dad in a chilling, no-holds-barred showdown between good and evil. And of course it's infamous for the scenes in which they show the baby drinking blood. Oh my gosh, so many series we finished off. Omen 4, The Awakening. The mostly forgotten, I believe made-for-TV sequel to Omen 3, The Final Conflict. I don't believe this ever received a theatrical release. But if you want to know what happens after Damien falls, this is it. The Hammer Suspense Collection. Not horror, but close for some of them. In particular, though, the suspense one I like. There's Stop Me Before I Kill, Cash on Demand, The Snorkel, Maniac, Never Take Candy from a Stranger, and These Are the Damned. These Are the Damned is a really good film, but it's not horror. It is more of a thriller. And Cash on Demand is a great one with Peter Cushing in it. And Never Take Candy from a Stranger, its British title was Never Take Sweets from a Stranger. And it is about a pedophile. And it deals about as frankly as they could at the time that it was filmed with the idea of having a pedophile, particularly a pedophile who's an upper member of society. It's icky, but I can't say it's tastefully done, but of course because there's so much they can't show, it's all implied. And perhaps that's for the best. Mind's Eye. This is directed by Joe Begos, who obviously had a love of Scanners. This is not a direct sequel in any way to Scanners, but it's very similar in nature to Scanners. Last House in the Woods, as you can see, I picked it up because it's $1.95. I didn't have enough time to peruse the $1.95 tables too much this time, but I happened to spot that one on the way out. Oh, and another one, Open Water 2, which, guess what, does not finish a series for me. I think I'm still missing Open Water 3. But Open Water 2, $1.95. Guess what, honey? There's still more.
Oh, Jiminy.
You can't go wrong with What's the Matter with Helen, with Debbie Reynolds and Shelley Winters, and Whoever Slew Auntie Roo, a $2.95 double feature. Hellraiser Judgment. Don't judge me, but I am finishing off another series, at least till another Hellraiser comes out. So that finishes off the Hellraiser series for me. Attack the Block. This is an excellent sci-fi horror film, an excellent British sci-fi horror film that if you haven't seen it, you may want to search it out. It is a little difficult to find, which is why they charge a little bit more for it. But it stars a very young John Boyega before he got a Star Wars work, and I'm sure he got Star Wars work because of that. Then, of course, we have the new Godzilla King of the Monsters film coming up. So I got Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, Godzilla and Mothra, The Battle for Earth, and Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. Got a 3-pack. Let's see if they gave him space. Oh, there's a digital slip. Well, I'm going to have to see if that works. Don't bother enlarging the thing to see if you can see the numbers. I'll have used it by the time this airs. Then a wonderful 4-pack of Deadly Friend, Eyes of a Stranger, The Hand, and Someone's Watching Me. And finally, a Mega Shark Collection. And by the way, this is MEG-A Shark Collection. Obviously timed for the Meg. And it contains Toxic Shark, Shark in Venice, Malibu Shark Attack, Shark Man, Shark Attack 2, Shark Attack 3 Megalodon, and Shark Zone. So I get to have so much sharking fun, it will be unsharking believable. Anyway, click like, subscribe, or even comment below. Thank you.